Please sound off in the chat and let us know where you're dialing in from. Always love to hear that. But I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to our presenters. Amanda, Eric, Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Morning. Awesome so far.
Morning,
So,
afternoon.
Hey, hey.
Amanda, I think you're up at the top. What are we talking about today?
Oh, we're talking about a lot today. So we have a great launch week this week, and we're going to be going over our API release as well as a lot of really cool updates to detection filters, and then some really cool stuff on our roadmap to come.
Excellent.
There we go. Do we want to do intros?
Yeah, we can just do round robin. Michael, you want to kick us off? We'll just go in order as on the slide.
Sounds good. All right. Hi, everybody. Michael Keller. I'm the VP of Products here at Blumira.
Hey, and I am Amanda. I am the Senior Product Manager of Cybersecurity.
Hey there, and I'm Eric Pitt. I'm a product manager here.
And we have Zoe.
Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm just here to facilitate today. I
You
don't
would
have any of the important
facilitate.
info.
Yeah. All right. So here's our agenda. We have, like I said, the Blumira API, detection filters, and I was kind of alluding to it because then I forgot it was on the agenda, but AI at Blumira. So first we're going to cover our Blumira API and what we've built so far. So some of you may have seen it in the app already. It has been out for a little bit over 2 weeks, I believe, but kind of hidden. So now we are, shouting from the top of our lungs about what we have to offer here. So the Blumira API is going to make it easier for you to get data out of the application and use it in the applications that you live in day to day. We've seen people have integrations with that API to pull into their ticketing systems and to create dashboards and all this kind of stuff. We'll show you some examples here coming up. But the first thing I want to show you is a little bit around what we decided to build into the API at first. So we heard a lot of responses and requests from people wanting to have better visibility into what findings they're getting, who's assigned to those, the notes that are on them, and then even diving into some of the assets. So things like your Blumira agents, so the devices themselves, the status of those devices when they were modified, other organizational details. So you can keep track, especially with MSPs, you can keep track of billing a little bit better of your organizations and just know kind of where you sit as far as, deployed agents and your user license limits and all of that kind of stuff is the beginnings of the data that we allow to get out of the API. So, that being said, it's a little bit of showtime. I have a couple of websites I'm going to show you. First up is our public API Swagger documentation. In here, you can see everything that's available without having to set up the API directly first if you don't want to. So let's give a good example. So we have like this org agents devices, right? So you can actually go in here and see what the different API settings can be, but you can also see an example response, right? So you can see what the host name is of something, when it was created, if it's been isolated or not, or if it's excluded, the last time it was seen, all of that kind of stuff. Other ones are findings. So you can go in here and see good detail of your findings. This is like the high level detail. So all the things that you get in either the email or the finding detail itself, you can see analysis, and then some of the other um, details allows you to drill down into those findings and actually see category, IDs, who it's assigned to, a whole bunch of different information in there. What can we do with this though, right? So you can use these to build integrations yourself. Like I said, people are building dashboards, and you can pull in, say you want to know how many different priority fours you had or, threats you've had and how fast it was to resolve those. You can see all of that information somewhere else if you decided to build a dashboard on it. Oh, is it not going to let me go to the other tab? Maybe. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to show you the two places in the application that is. First, we have in our MSP portal, we have our MSP integrations tab. Now, this is where you're going to set up if you are an MSP and you want to see all of your sub-account data. You can come in here and generate API credentials from here and see a client ID and a client secret. That ID will stay, but the secret will not. The secret will disappear, and then you'll have to rotate it if you want to see it again. That's why I kind of list that there. I'm going to show an example of what that looks like, but first I want to show you what it looks like for our direct customers. For our direct customers, it's underneath settings and organization, and down here at the bottom. You can create it for that individual organization if you only have one. So we're going to go back and use the MSP API credentials in this fancy little thing that we put out as a demo dashboard. So on GitHub, you can find it on our Blumira public GitHub page. We have this MSP API demo dashboard. You can use this, modify it, fork it, save it, whatever you want to do to it, just to kind of play around with it if you want, as opposed to, starting something from scratch if you don't want to. And what that looks like is right here. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like when we put the credentials in. Well, we don't have any critical findings right now, which it's our lab, so it's not that big of a deal, but you can see how you would be able to use this in your day-to-day to kind of give yourself some visibility, especially if you have multiple accounts, kind of pulling those all into one place. All right, back to our slides. All right. I told you what's all in there right now. Feel free and go into and play around with it and let us know what you think. Another thing, so with our beta participants that we had a lot of really good feedback improvements before we went live with it, as well as afterwards and the last couple weeks that people have been using it. So a couple of things that are coming soon is we're going to provide additional information. So who's assigned, who has added notes, changes in those, and then same thing with easier filtering. So some server-side filtering, so you don't have to pull down all of your findings and kind of filter through them there. You're going to be able to do that before, while making that API call. Yeah, and I will paste the GitHub link in there in a second here.
We're also going to include that in the follow-up email too. So we want to make sure that you get to try that out.
Yeah. Yep. And I will hand it over to Eric.
Thanks so much, Amanda. So this month and this week, because it's launch week for our new API, we have a very special case study that we're going to be featuring today. You can hop on over to the next slide, Amanda. So this is a customer story featuring our new API. So this month we'll be featuring Leap Managed IT. This was one of our beta testers for the new API. And a little bit about Leap. They're one of the largest service providers in all of the Midwest. And they've been with Blumira for just about 6-7 months now. And we're lucky enough to have Emmett Wallace with us today to chat with us a little bit. And a little bit about Emmett. He's a cloud and automation specialist with Leap. And Emmett, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
But let's jump right in. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your tech stack and how you were using your ConnectWise PSA and Nyleer before using the Blumira API?
Yeah, so we use, when I've been with Leap for about 3 years, and at the beginning of my time here, we were just solely using ConnectWise, and that's our ticketing system. That's how, I mean, most of us are probably familiar with ConnectWise. But we were just find any information that, like, any security issues that we were having, we just manually create a ticket, and we'd assign people that way. And then going forward, we were having issues with the accurate time tracking on our tickets. So we added Nyleer, which is a sort of like a shell for ConnectWise, if you're not familiar with it, and um, it allows a stopwatch type feature that allows you to start working on the tickets and help track time on tickets more accurately. And then as we move forward, we were introduced with Blumira, and we enjoy the product a lot. And we were finding issues where our when Blumira created a ticket in ConnectWise, our technicians, uh because they were using Nyleer to track their times, we would complete the ticket in Nyleer, but it wouldn't necessarily translate over to ConnectWise because the technician wasn't actively working the ticket in ConnectWise.
Gotcha. So hitting that inefficiency there, how did the API streamline that for you?
Well, as we developed the API, developed what is there now, we're able to use some automation to, say, hey, this ticket is marked completed in Nyleer, but it's not closed in Blumira, or vice versa. If it was closed in Blumira, it wasn't completed in Nyleer. So we're able to use the API to see what is completed, and we can close tickets that way. So that way it cuts down on our ticketing, our ticket numbers, and our dispatch team doesn't get angry at us.
And how are you pulling that data, or what are you pulling your Blumira data into?
Yes, so we're using to use the APIs, we're using Roost, but I've developed a Teams bot that allows us to pull that information if we need it. We can list tickets or list the Blumira instances, and go from there to kind of see that report of what's closed and what needs addressed.
Awesome. Yeah. What does that day to day look like now, or what are some of those results you've been seeing with that new process
We
in place?
we've been seeing tickets closed faster. We've been seeing tickets closed and our ticket numbers going down. That's one big thing, is we strive to have a low ticket count over the whole organization. And because of all three of those, Nyleer, ConnectWise, and Blumira, we're able to get those ticket numbers, some of those ticket numbers down a little bit easier than we were before.
Love to hear it. Yeah, faster and less tickets. Very
Mhm.
good. But yeah, looking ahead, I know you've only had about a month of using the API, but how are you looking to use it in the future?
Well, a couple of, or at least one big thing, and I've actually implemented this already from the last time we spoke. But we were able to um, create a workflow that alerts our power users in Blumira if there are certain things that pop up. So, like, yeah, we get the email saying there's a suspicious rule created in a 365 tenant. But including the API, we're able to send alerts using that team spot that I mentioned earlier to our power users. So that way they can say, hey, we really need to address this a lot quicker than maybe some of the other ones.
Exciting. Yeah. Looking forward to hearing more about that down the road. But thanks so much for hopping on today, Emmett. Really appreciate
Yeah,
you
no
taking
problem.
the time and walking us through this.
No problem. Thanks again. We've been happy with Blumira, and we look forward to seeing what you guys develop in the future.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And you can jump to the next slide, Amanda. And just throwing that invitation out there for everybody. If you're interested in chatting with me about a success story, about your experience with Blumira, it's a quick phone call, and we can hammer out a few things, and it gives you some nice exposure, some nice visibility, and expanding your network. Feel free to drop your information in the chat, or you can reach out to me directly. I tried to make that email super big at the bottom for you there.
And I want to pause real quick before we move on to our detection filters because we had a few questions come in for folks that may not be able to see the chat. The first question that we got is the API, is that available on only the XDR edition?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So just so everybody understands, if you are a direct customer with Blumira, it's only available on XDR. So please reach out to the sales team if you're looking to upgrade there, and if you don't see it, that's almost certainly why. Though please reach out and ask questions. We're happy to chat about API and access there. And then for MSPs, all paying MSPs have access to it. If you're a sub account of an MSP, you do not get a key. As of today, that we do have some conversations about that. But yeah, anyway, so for MSPs, if you're paying, you do have access, and then in direct, you do have to be on that XDR tier. But again, we're always happy to take feedback and appreciate everyone's excitement with the functionality.
Thank you, Michael. And then we got another question. If one has a high side secure network, can the filter features be run from multiple containers?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I can grab the info and we can follow up directly with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I'd be interested to ask more questions around that. I'll cover the detection filter stuff now, which is all going to be in our app.
And then one more API question. Hopefully we can answer this one because it's from an anonymous attendee. Can the API resolve alerts via the API in third-party systems, or does it still need to be manually resolved in both systems?
Sure, I'll take this. So basically, the API is read only for today. So if you're trying to utilize the API to resolve alerts in another system, that is not available yet. Definitely something that's on our mind. Of course, we also then do have the ability for you to use this API to basically confirm that if you are using Blumira and you're living in it, to another system, or we do have a couple of integrations like our ConnectWise integration for MSPs, where it can go from Blumira into those other systems to resolve automatically. But again, if you have specific systems or tools that you're using and you're thinking about, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear more about it, and always happy to chat. And then I do see one other question in the chat, so I'll grab that one live from Abdullah.
May I do something, mention something about the API in that case before we switch over?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, all right. So it mentions, do you have to manually resolve it in both systems? We do have the status of the tickets inside Blumira. So it depends on how you write the API. We don't have a webhook that will tell you when it has changed in Blumira. So if you pull it and recognize the difference, you play in a third party system, you just wouldn't be able to do it back the other way because of the read only. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, please. I think maybe Zoe, if you can grab that question, we'll answer it later, and then Amanda, you can just go through the detection filter stuff.
Yeah, I can do that. Yep. All right, so our enhanced detection filters. I know a lot of you already use detection filters to make your alerts work a little bit better in your environment. As much work as our IDE team can do, they put into filtering and creating the detections so they are quiet when we release them. However, as all of you know, some of them, there's just no possibility, right? You have things that look like a threat in some environments and not necessarily in others, especially for managing multiple. And there's just a little bit of tuning that you need to be able to do to make your lives a little bit better so you don't get alert fatigue. With that being said, we did have some enhancements that we wanted to make to our detection filters, and I'm going to go over what those look like. So the first thing that we built, and we listened to everyone's feedback and requests, is regex filters. So regular expressions, which is just a kind of a language that allows you to match on certain types of characters. I'm not going to read, obviously, all of the stuff that's on my screen right here, but these are just some real life examples of some requests that we had seen. So a good example is you have a piece of software that regularly updates and triggers a detection. You know that it's always going to be in this drive, in that subfolder of this version, but you have a random, subversion number that changes all the time, and you don't want to have to worry about that generating a false positive every single time. Before, you would kind of be able to do it, but not really to the level that we really wanted to. So we put in regex filters, and now you can select that when you create a detection filter. Two things I wanted to point out because I find them helpful, and there are different flavors of regex out there. If you want to kind of play around with regex or see what's available, see what's possible, those black and green and white screenshots at the bottom are a tool that is called Re2JS Playground. So it's the Google regular expression 2 syntax, like checker. And you can actually put in here a test string with some regular expressions and kind of play around with it. And then there's another one up here too, just another read to regular expression syntax page. So I'll share those links in there as well. I just like sharing documentation like that because sometimes it can be helpful to learn and kind of play around with. Another is IP ranges. So I'm sure all of you are well aware of how IP ranges work. And it was only a semi possibility before. So you can kind of see what our prior workarounds before. You could do a contains. So like your source IP contains 192.203.195 dot, right? Because then it just contains that. It'll be everything afterwards. That makes it really hard when you're doing anything outside of a /24. Or you have a group of IP addresses, or you have a different kind of subnet, right? It just made it really difficult to do without adding a whole bunch of different IP addresses. Now we have the operator of between, so you can just put the first and the last, and it can be any range that you want, and it makes it much easier when you're creating any kind of IP range filter for those detection filters. And then what's coming soon is proactive filtering. This is one that is highly requested from all of our MSP customers because when you are onboarding a new customer, you have SOPs that you're going through and a standard way that you onboard, and you know what false positives are going to be coming as you start onboarding, right? Sometimes they come in the middle of the night, depending on what your new clients are doing or whatever. Now soon you'll be able to add filters directly on our detection filters rule page without having to wait for the finding to trigger. So you're going to be able to edit them as well. You don't have to delete and then recreate. All of it's going to be able to be done from that detection filters rule page, which is going to make it way easier and kind of streamlined to manage.
Thank you, Amanda. And if you have been getting our launch week emails this week, you'll know that we talked a good deal about the API and detection filter enhancements, but we also included information about our compliance reporting support. Blumira has been making sure that our customers don't have to go it alone in compliance prep for years, including making pre-built reports for a lot of the common standards like HIPAA, PCI, and most relevantly right now, CMMC. We've been closely monitoring the standard as it evolves, and as CMMC 2.0 goes into effect, we're getting ready to offer even more support to our customers and partners to use Blumira to satisfy several of the key requirements of CMMC levels 1 and 2. For qualified customers, our CMC program will include an expert-prepared shared responsibility matrix, detailed templates for your system security plan for the controls that we satisfy, and additional guidance documents to help you prepare. We're also going to be available to add some additional technical assistance to help you complete these documents and answer other questions that may come up before the audit, as well as maintenance questions that may come down the road. We will have more about this coming out as we release it publicly. But if you have questions or want to make sure that we get to follow up with you on it, please reach out to your Blumira account representative or stay tuned on the website and we'll have more details in the near future. With that, I'll pass it over to Michael.
Awesome. And then maybe we'll answer a couple more questions before I dive into our special presentation on AI here. Amanda, do you want to start off and just talk a little bit about the SIM with GCC High?
Yes. So we do have those two options. So we have, well, currently we only have the GCC High option. We currently have in beta, a private beta right now, GCC Standard as well, which will be switching to a new connector here in I would say days, but I don't know an exact day. But if you want to reach out to us, I can definitely let you know when we have that available. It is currently though available for GCC High, if you want to select that in the 365 integration.
Awesome. And then Amanda, I don't know if you want to take a couple of the filter questions that we've gotten.
Yes. Let's see here. So I see Matt just asked one to retrieve existing detection filters for ones that you want to edit. You can reach out to our support and we can get you a list of those. There's no current way to do that in app. Let's see here.
And
We
then there's
also,
one from, sorry.
you beat me to it. I was just going to say, we got a question if parent tenants, filters created on a parent tenant for MSP partners can be pushed to all child tenants automatically.
Not yet. That is definitely something I would love to talk to you about, however. We do have a couple different quotes and ideas around that, but I would, if you want to schedule some time with me, I'll drop my calendar link in the chat, and I would absolutely love to talk to you about it because it's something that I know could really, really help when you're multi-tenanted.
Awesome. All right. I know we had a couple more questions. So maybe Amanda, now you can kind of jump me over and we'll start talking about AI Blumira. Awesome. So hopefully you all are not shocked. We're talking about AI. It's an exciting capability, a lot of functionality available, and we're trying to be really intentional about what we're doing with AI as it relates to your experience in our product and how we're thinking about empowering you all and making functionality that will improve your life day to day instead of anything else. And so there's three key pieces that we're thinking about. The first is, and we're going to talk about this, introducing AI investigations. So this is something that we're building out now and are excited to share more about as we get through the quarter and into later in the year. We're going to talk a lot about how we're thinking about the findings experience overall and how this fits into that universe. And so this is one where we're not just trying to introduce new capabilities that you can take advantage of, but then also figuring out how does that work within your flow so that you're spending more time investigating and responding versus trying to understand and grok. And then the last piece that we're just thinking about here is just adding additional capabilities for our advanced users. So, the people who have the time or really want to dive in, making that even easier as we're continuing to evolve. So next slide. If you would mind. So this is a little bit of early show and tell. We've shared this mock-up concept with a few different customers and had a few different conversations, but some key things that we just want to really highlight. When we're thinking about how we're going to introduce this capability related to AI, stuff we've been utilizing internally, and really just how we're empowering our team and then hopefully empowering all of you is utilizing this kind of analysis to summarize the finding, provide investigation steps based on your environment. So it's not just kind of our human created workflows, but then combining the power of our workflows with the power of your data. And so everything that you might see in the evidence tables, everything you might see in your own logs, we're feeding that into the system, and then it's going to be able to provide really intentional and personal to you remediation guidance that then you can choose to utilize how you see fit. And so it's functionality we're really excited to put out into market and to continue to get feedback on. So as you're seeing this, if you have thoughts, questions, please reach out to us or ask in the chat. We're really excited about it. We think there's going to be a lot of power in this capability, and we can't wait to get more feedback from our customers as we go into it. So again, this is something that you can expect to see later in the quarter and later in the year, but we wanted to start talking about it and highlighting how we're thinking about it now. And if you wouldn't mind, Amanda. The other half of this is the finding experience. So if you saw that page, you've noticed it looks a little bit different than the way it looks today. And so there's a lot of different answers that to different questions that we've gotten over the years that we're putting out and putting into place. So I'll go top right to bottom left to go backwards a little bit. But you'll notice there's the ability to kind of go back and forth between findings. So if you're working your queue, making it a little bit quicker to move back and forth within that experience, being able to open and close a ticket right from the top if you just want to close it out, you know what you're doing, or if you want to reopen a ticket, as well as linking out to MITRE codes and kind of more information. And so this is just where you need the insight and how you're working from the screen, being kind of, we've done a lot of work with different customers to figure out, okay, how are you using our platform and how can we make this an easier, better experience for you, with you. You'll also notice that we're starting to streamline our response action capabilities. And so for customers who have access to that tech, these pieces, making that even easier and simpler to get access. And then also, simple things like making it more obvious how you connect with our spectacular security operations team. And so, you want to check that box and you're going to get a really quick response. So that's another piece here that we're just trying to combine a bunch of little things to hopefully make for a much better overall experience. And so again, this is something we're really excited about. Pieces of this are going to start rolling out over the coming weeks, but it'll take a little bit before it's all live in everyone's environment. But again, we're really excited about just kind of overhauling this part of your day-to-day, especially if you're living in Blumira, and we're really excited to share more. Awesome. So I don't know, Zoe, if you want to highlight this or if you want to go through questions too.
Yeah, so we are going to move into the Q&A portion here just as we do, and we've already got some coming in, which is fantastic. If you have not yet started a trial of Blumira, we give you access to a fully featured XDR edition trial for 30 days. We think that you should get to try these things out and make sure that it's actually going to work for you with your actual integrations in your actual environment before you're in a position of paying for it. So please take advantage of that. You will be getting information on how to reach out to us as well as how to reach out directly to me with questions in your follow-up email. So we would love to hear from you and help answer any questions that you have on that topic of questions, and please keep them coming. We do have our first few additional ones in here. First one came in a little bit ago is if we have plans to add additional PSA integrations, and the specific one that they asked about here is Freshdesk.
Yeah, so nothing specific that we can share today on PSA integrations. It's definitely top of mind. It is something that we're thinking about this year, and I hope to have more to share as we go, but nothing I can say actively today. But thank you for the question and trust that we're actively evaluating how we make your life easier as it relates to the tools that you're living in every single day.
Agreed. Agreed. And we got a question here on editions in regards to AI. Will AI be available in all editions of the service?
Yes, so AI will likely not be available in all editions of the service. We're still finalizing some of the details there, But I will say that it is very likely to start off in the XDR tier for direct customers. And so I would, again, expect that to be where it lives, or for all customers, I should say. So hopefully this is an idea of where we're going and building on top of the platform. And you can kind of start to feel some of that functionality that we're building into that top tier. But yeah, it will be XDR only as we get started, and certainly it'll continue to evolve. And hopefully we can get out pieces to more customers as we go as well.
Excellent. Another question in regards to the API. Can we filter alerts via the API before ingestion, such as by severity, detection source, asset group, MITRE tactic, etc.?
Not by everything yet. That is what is coming soon. Hopefully, it will be within the next 2 weeks. However, I can't guarantee what the date will be, but it is on the roadmap to be able to do more filtering before ingestion, yes.
Then another question, are expirations for detection filters still on the horizon?
Yes, we have somebody looking into how to actually do that right now, but I would love to know how. Again, I know nobody can uh, copy links, I guess, in chat right now, but if you want to email me, aberlin@blumira.com, I would love to talk to you more about that expiration because there's a lot of different ways we could do it, and I would love to see what you're thinking about. Yeah.
Then we got a feature request question as to whether we can put Report Builder on the findings page. I think we're able to get to Report Builder from page findings by going to investigate it, right?
Yeah, and I'll take this one. I think maybe it depends a little bit what you're looking to do, Mike. And I certainly so Amanda put her email in chat, and I'll put my email as well to specifically what you're trying to do. One thing I will say, and I'm not able to share it and show it yet, but our design team and our engineering team are working hard to figure out how we can evolve the evidence table and the additional log insights that we have within a finding now. And we expect to expand that pretty significantly so that there'll be more access to more insight directly from within the findings page. But again, if you're thinking more about the depth of functionality in Report Builder, I'd be curious to hear more about what you're looking to do and what you're trying to get at.
Thank you. Will the API be able to pull in a list of devices with duplicate serial numbers to more easily manage devices that haven't been removed from the system and properly free up licenses?
That's a great question. I think so. I think the serial number is in here. The device ID is in here, which you should be able to use. Yes.
So our answer is yes, probably, and let us know if that's not the
Yes.
case.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Excellent. I believe those are the questions that we have gotten so far. I'll give folks another minute or two to add any last ones that they have. For anyone that joined as we went through today's session, don't worry. We are going to have a recording going out tomorrow morning, as well as the links that got shared in the chat, since folks weren't able to copy them, and a couple of resources that we showed, such as the dashboard project that's available on our GitHub. And we did get another question in here. Will the Defender 365 integration include write back to Defender incidents and alerts?
That is currently not on the roadmap, but again, I would love to learn about the specific instances that you're thinking about.
For folks with questions about these kind of roadmap things, is sending directly to you and Michael the best way for them to share that, or is there another email where we want to capture those?
Yeah, I think there's a couple options. So if you want to reach out to either of us individually, go for it. You've also got the public link that Amanda just shared, blumira.com/ideas. If you want to just write that down in a free format way where it gets shared a little bit more broadly with the organization. So please feel free to go there. You can see some of the different things that we're thinking about, look for feedback on as well. And we keep that updated as we continue to evolve both our roadmap, short-term roadmap, which is what's there, as well as things going out into production.
Then Tyler has a fully custom CRM that's been built in-house. That sounds like a fun project. They're looking to use the API for advanced reporting. Are there any restrictions on using this in a custom solution or restrictions on the data that can be pulled in?
So the only restrictions you're gonna find is we do rate limit at a certain point, but we've not come close to hitting that yet. As well as if you are an MSP, your free accounts, you will not get the super detailed information. You will only get high level account information. So number of users, license, org name, that kind of, open findings, that kind of stuff.
Then any thoughts on ability to call out to another API or webhook upon detection? That would be a great aid to helping tie our systems together.
I am free to talk about all response level things. I love learning about those different use cases and anything that you want to talk about regarding response, especially coming from our detections, I would love to hear about. I know that's one thing that we kind of have dabbled with as far as like uh, dynamic block lists and the 365 response actions and host isolation, all of those kind of things. But yeah, I would love to hear all the things you're thinking about in regards to what you would want to do when you see a Blumira detection come in.
Excellent. And then I think, Amanda, at the point where you've had two editions of your reference manual published, it's safe to say that defense and response is a special interest of yours, probably.
I do like it a lot, yeah.
Uh, Thank you to the heads up on the 404 there. I'm just going to double check that and we'll follow up with you in chat. Uh, any other notes?
Yeah. So last thing I'll say is that I think, especially for everyone who's stuck around and asked questions on the API, we're really excited to launch this API today. You probably get a feel that there's more to come. There's more that we're thinking about, and your feedback here today, and as we continue on, is incredibly valuable and helpful. And there's certainly going to be more to come. Please try it. Please give us feedback. Play with the GitHub dashboard that we put together. We have a lot to come with the platform, and obviously thinking about APIs, we're thinking about AI. There's a lot we're playing with, and again, we're really excited to evolve this with you all.
Awesome. Thank you to all of our attendees for taking time out of your busy weeks to learn about these new things that we're doing to try and make your lives easier and help you catch more risk earlier. And thank you to our presenters for sharing all of your expertise and knowledge today. We will get that recording and email out to you tomorrow morning. Please reach out to us with any further questions. And in the meantime, have a great day and stay safe out there, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.